Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I'm driving this. This is the second generation of the Mercedes G-Class, the W463. It's also popularly known as the G-Wagon because G-Wagon is coming from the word Geländewagen, which in German stands for cross-country vehicle. I don't even know if I pronounced Geländewagen properly, but this is an iconic car and it is priced at rupees 3.07 crores on road Mumbai. Earlier this decade, I had reviewed the G350d and the price has increased by more than 50%. I honestly don't know how. This is the key of the vehicle, the typical Mercedes key, and the biggest change here happens to be the fact that this car now gets more power and torque. It is the most powerful Mercedes diesel engine right now, and there it is. It says 6-cylinder right here, and obviously it gets insulation. In fact, this is where washer fluid goes in, and the engine seems quite noisy. Now this is the G400d Adventure Edition. This actually happens to be India specific. Now straight away let me tell you, it gets these iconic indicators, Mercedes-Benz written right here. In fact, it cost Mercedes a lot to engineer this particular indicator because this is how it has been since 1979. Obviously the design is the same since donkey's years. Right now you get the massive Mercedes logo with the radar inside. There's a camera here, all LED headlights with headlight washer, and very boxy design. You get 6 parking sensors because this gets the self park function too. The windscreen is very angular and oh my god, this is so boxy. Stop saying that Amiro ki Bolero because this is way more than that. The Bolero does not have 3 locking differentials. This car definitely has it. In terms of length, it is around 4.6 meters. In terms of wheelbase, it is slightly less than 2.9 meters and it's 2 meters wide, 2 meters tall. So yes, it's a huge car. Now this car has very plain and basic alloy wheels, silver finishing right here. The tire size happens to be 275/55/19s, and there you can see the suspension. Actually, the ground clearance is fixed at 241 mm because this car does not get air suspension. However, it gets a lot of iconic G elements like these hinge doors, exposed of course. There's a camera here. At night, it even projects the G logo here saying stronger than time. Meanwhile, you obviously get a luggage rack right there that can accommodate 90 kgs when the car is moving or 240 kgs when the car stands still, so that you can actually go on for a nice tenting trip by putting your tent and camping right here. Now this ladder can take 100 kgs of weight. I am thankfully 99.9 kgs, so we will try to get up. And this material is very similar to what we see on the hood of a Land Rover Defender. Yeah, it is quite rugged, but it gets very dirty. Difficult to clean this car, honestly. And the lights are very slim at the rear. You get a full-size spare wheel, and I love the spare cover as well. Let's open the boot. The boot is decent size, but because the window line is low and the parcel shelf is the way it is, it reduces the usability of the boot. Let's actually open this parcel shelf. These are high visibility jackets because it's mandatory to be wearing this when you're in a G-Wagon because you're going to be going off-road, or so you believe. And I think this is the manual of the vehicle. I don't even know what this is, so please enlighten me on what this exactly is. It's some sort of an accessory or something. Khul ja bhai, khul ja. What is this panel? Yeah, this color is olive green and this is the first aid kit. Here you get a net, speaker placement there, light placement here, 12-volt charging socket right here, another light, and there is this secret compartment, but because of the parcel shelf I cannot really access it, through which you can activate the tickling function of the center passenger who actually gets ahead. Listen to this, okay? Oh my goodness, when it shuts, you definitely realize that something has really shut. So yes, it's a beautiful looking car still. I mean, you will love it. 6 parking sensors at the rear, a towing hook to tow out other cars, that is, and that is the reverse parking camera, which obviously comes out when you get into reverse. See the underbody of the vehicle. Yes, it is a ladder frame. Meanwhile, this is the olive green color. There are 25 color options, out of which 8 are free. One of them is white, of course, and there's 17 paid colors, and this is one of the paid colors, of course. Yeah, Mercedes will take a lot more money from you because if you want to customize your car, they will help you do that as well. It even says G here on the door handle, and this actually can be opened. Before that, let me shut this. So this is how you access the boot because these seats don't seem to fall forward. Let's shut this and let's shut this as well. You can open this because you can, I mean, and you obviously get a warning triangle right here. Let's just shut this. Okay, there are a lot of hooks right here to secure God knows what, Meanwhile, the door pockets are massive. Burmester sound system, obviously a lot of nice speakers in this car. Heating function for rear seat passengers. The car is hot, but it does not get any sunblind here. I think there's a helicopter right on top. Where is it? I can't even spot it. There it is. Hi, helicopter. Every time I'm making a video of any car, there's always a helicopter trying to monitor what I'm doing. But never mind, let's get inside. So space is actually not bad, but not great either. Under thigh support is decent. Meanwhile, headroom is plenty in this car. Yeah, there is a lot of headroom. There's a hook, there's a handle. This is, I think, for the coat hook. And height adjustable seat belts as well. AC vent placement here, AC vent placement here. And here you get an ashtray, a cigarette lighter. And what is this? Oh, USB-C charging socket is not there in this car. This is a USB-A, hard plastics here. It gets a 4-zone climate control air conditioning. Not really, it's a 3-zone. So there is 1 zone at the rear, 2 at the front, of course. Magazine holders, very aircraft style. I think this is a provision to mount a tablet if you so wish. The dashboard looks the same as before, and thankfully not much has changed because Mercedes is usually going a step back by making changes to the steering wheel and the buttons. There's a hump here. Let's open this armrest, which has got twin cup holders. Center passenger gets ahead, yes! And you get red seat belts as well. Okay, that's a lot of space when I move the seat all the way ahead. Getting in and out can be a task because there is no footboard in this car, which is quite surprising. And every time you shut the door, you realize that world might be shaking a bit because it is very hefty. The door is very heavy and it makes that sound. It's very traditional in that regard. So yes, Mercedes is still continuing to give us something which is super retro cool, better than any other retro cool car on sale right now. Where are the exhausts? Well, they are right here on the side. Now obviously it is the G63 AMG which does this better. You can see the underbody. Well, that also seems very rugged to me. Exposed door hinges, which is fantastic. There is no keyless entry in this car. There doesn't need to be because you have to use the key every time. It says Mercedes-Benz Shuckle proved. Basically, Shuckle is the mountain which is 15 kilometers away from Graz, where this car is actually manufactured. So this car is tested on the Shuckle mountains, and that's the reason why you have the sticker. It should be there on the hood, I believe. It says Mercedes-Benz here, does not illuminate. Door pockets at the front are like really very big, and you get seat heating and seat ventilation for the front seats. Meanwhile, these are the controls for the adjustment of the seats. You get 3 memory functions. I press a button. Actually, I have to keep this button pressed. And the seat is adjusting. If you notice one thing, the steering is going inside. So everything is electric. In spite of the fact that this car is based on a very old design, it still has a lot of modern elements to it. And under thigh support is never an issue because that can be extended as well. So yeah, that's it. Now the steering wheel is not having touch sensitive controls, which is good. Only these two are, but the rest is obviously physical buttons, which is a good thing because Mercedes-Benz will make an update to this car by removing things from here and obviously making changes to these buttons as well. Thankfully, they have not done that. Tweeter placement here on the top. Controls for the headlights. This is for the lane keep assist. This is for the parking sensors. And I think I have turned on the rear fogs, which actually illuminate right here. That is the rear fog. It says maximum 100 kgs. So you have to be a bit careful of not putting your heavy body on top while climbing these ladders. I think this can be easily removed. It is anti-slip as well. You get leather treatment in a lot of places, sort of carbon fiber finishing as well, and it gives you information about the car and the tire pressure and the weight as well. There's a proper dead pedal right there. Nice material use here. In fact, they have used nice material here on the top as well. Yeah, sort of Alcantara finish. You get 2 lights, a mirror, a microphone, a handle to hold on to, and the height here is crazy. You can see the hood of the vehicle while driving. Let's shut. Let me turn off the air conditioning and let me turn off the hazard as well. The glove box is kind of useless because it's small, but it gets a coin holder here. It also gets some anti-slip material right here. I don't even know what that is, but something here is sort of different. Maybe it's a card holder or what, no understanding, but does not get the air balance package which is there in Mercedes cars. Here you get some amount of storage with 2 USB-A charging sockets and SD card slot as well. There is no USB-C in this car. Here you actually get twin cup holders, a 12-volt charging socket, and a proper location to keep the key of the vehicle. So I'm just going to remove the key of the car, and there it is, slots right into place. Yeah, it will move a bit, but anyways, let's just shut this. It gets physical controls with a rotary dial, of course, and you can press buttons here. Lot of buttons here for dynamic mode, manual mode, traction control, volume controller, parking camera, and low range obviously. So yes, this car has the world's best screen because it does not catch any fingerprints because you'll never touch it. This is not a touch screen. No touch screen in this car. This is a very old Mercedes infotainment system. Yeah, at least 2 generations old, because the latest one is in the S class, which is vertical, and in the C class and all those cars also. This one, no touchscreen, crazy, right? There's no heads-up display here. There's a signature right here. I don't know why. And the steering wheel feels nice to hold as well. 3 locking differentials. So this is for front lock, this is for center lock, and this is for the rear lock. And when you activate it, firstly you have to come into neutral, and then only the activation happens. So we are just going to come into neutral right away. Aaja bhai neutral mein. There we are. Okay, let's lock the diffs. There, it makes this sound, and it will deactivate ABS and ESP. When you lock the differentials, the light will activate as well. These AC vents you see in aftermarket Mahindra Thar, so that you can understand where the inspiration is coming from. Engine start button, stop start system, obviously, and you get a clock, lot of physical control. This is for the air conditioning, this is for various other functions. This is to get into the car function. Here, if you notice in the seats, I can change a lot of things. Firstly, it has got seat massage with multiple functions. Yeah, multiple massage modes are there. Then obviously you can come into dynamic seat. When you're cornering now, the seat bolster will automatically hug you from one side, which is absolutely fantastic a feeling. This car needs it. And then you can adjust the side bolsters from here. So a lot of electric stuff inside this particular menu to adjust even the seats. And this is actually better to operate when compared to anything else. There's something known as energizing comfort, which is basically sort of a refreshing or a spa mode, I would say. Assistant mode with the camera, lane keep assist, blind spot monitor, all that is obviously there. And you can get into vehicle settings to make changes. Meanwhile, the important setting is light settings, because it's got ambient lighting and it has got 64 colors for the ambient lighting. It's a bit slow to respond, this particular system. So yeah, it is showing its age right now, but 64 colors, which is nice because the ambient lighting is fantastic. In fact, when you turn on the car now, the light does a nice dance as well, which looks quite cool too. Let's get out of this menu. It's the usual Mercedes menu. It's quite nice. It's very slick, and I love the sound from this particular rotary dial. Let's get into navigation, because navigation is also fantastic. Let's see whether the earth is round or flat. Oh, it is round, thankfully. Let's come back, and there we are in a particular location, which is fantastic. This is obviously auto dimming, but if you notice, the spare wheel can be seen here, so it doesn't give you the best view of what's behind. Thankfully though, it has got a fantastic camera system with multiple views. So self park is there. This is the front camera. This is another view for the front camera. Side cameras, rear camera. So you'll never ever have an issue. And obviously it also has a 360-degree parking camera right here. Browsing through this menu is easy. It's super easy, and yeah, there's not much in this menu honestly. But you can get into the system settings and change a lot of things. In fact, I'm going to change the particular mode when we are driving this car, just to show you some dynamic data. Now this is also a 12.3 inch screen, so both the screens are 12.3 inch ones. And because I have turned on these particular modes, this car's ABS and all will obviously turn off. Here it is quite easy to browse as well, because I can change the display here. So there are 3 of these designs. Right now we are in sport. This is the classic one, which obviously looks nice, and there's a progressive one as well. In fact, you can go to the right and you can make a lot of changes. You also have a G-force meter right here and navigation data. So you can go to these individual pods and make changes. So let's get into the design again. Yeah, it can get a bit difficult to operate. It can get a bit frustrating as well, but yes, it gets the job done. It's a very nice and clean screen. Let's change this, because I want to see the tachometer, and obviously it gives you a lot of other information. Controls for the audio system, and for this screen on the left. Controls for the cruise control, and for this screen on the right. The horn is really nice and loud, and obviously it has got electric adjust. You would obviously expect all this at this price. So it says G manufacturer because of the certain elements on this particular car. And then it obviously gets a sunroof, but it's a single piece sunroof, which is blocked by this roof carrier. Here we're going to open the sunroof right away. What is this? What is the use of the sunroof when this is actually blocking the view for me? Let me open it further. There it opens. But yeah, what is the point? I don't understand at all. So let's just shut this small sunroof. Yeah, they could have given it a bigger sunroof, but then they have to also save things for an updated model which might come. Controls for the power windows are here on the top, so you kind of feel like the king of the road when you keep your hand like this. And the most important feature of a G-Wagon is locking and locking the car. Listen to this sound. It's like firing from an AK-47 gun. That is how satisfying the sound is. I absolutely love it. And then every time I open the door or something, it shows me the data here, which is very cool. It even shows me when the boot is open. So the quality of everything is just phenomenal. Let me turn off the car. When I turn off the car now, obviously it gives me this cool display. Yeah, it shows the Mercedes logo. When I turn on the car again, it shows me a cool display here. It also shows me a cool display on the infotainment system. What a fantastic design for a retro car with a lot of retro elements still there. No fingerprint magnet is my happiest feeling ever. Let's start driving right away. Alright, let's start driving. First things first, let me turn off the air conditioning completely. Let me actually get into dynamic select here. Yes, and then we are going to turn on the engine data. I'm going to change the drive mode into sport. I'm also going to change, oh my god, stop start system activated, this into sport, the display. I'm going to turn off traction control into first gear, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, hazard light off, and off we go. Little bit of wheel spin as well, which is crazy. And there we have already reached 100 kilometers per hour. So 0 to 100 kilometers per hour. Where is this thing come from? Oh my god, what a target. Anyway, 0 to 100 kilometers per hour comes up in 6.4 seconds. This is the Mercedes' most powerful diesel engine. This is a 3-liter straight-six twin-turbo diesel engine which produces 330 horsepower between 3,600 to 4,200 RPM. Meanwhile, the torque output happens to be 700 Newton meters, and that 700 Newton meters of torque comes in at a rather low 1200 RPM, stays there till 3200 RPM. The result is that low end punch is very good. There is no lag as such. Yeah, the engine feels quite punchy, and in spite of its 2489 kgs weight, almost 2500 kgs weight, this car still feels quite sprightly to drive. Yes, there's a lot of grunt from the diesel engine. Compared to the G350d, power has dramatically improved. This car now produces approximately 100 Newton meters more torque when compared to before, and the power is increased by 44 horsepower. Mercedes simply loves the number 44. Not anymore, because 44 left Mercedes to join Ferrari. There's no kick in the pants feel as such. Mid-range is fine, top end is a bit lackluster. It will rev till almost 5000 RPM, and it has a 9-speed torque converter automatic gearbox which is decently quick with shifts, so obviously I can use the steering mounted paddles. There's in fact a manual mode as well, and when I get into the manual mode, well, now will it hold on to a gear? Firstly, we need to come to a lower gear. Second gear, no, it does not hold on to a gear, which is quite surprising. This engine is very refined. It's extremely smooth. You can't really hear the noise unless and until you get into the mid-range, and then in the mid-range obviously it becomes quite vocal as well. This car is 1 second faster when compared to the G350d, but quite slow when compared to the G63 AMG, which produces 577 horsepower and 850 Newton meters of torque from its 4-liter bi-turbo V8 engine, the exact same engine which also powers the Mercedes AMG GTR, the old one, that is the beast of the green hell. In fact, the G63 AMG has a top speed of 220 kilometers per hour. This G350d and the G400d, I mean both of them, they have a top speed of 210 kilometers per hour. In the G63 AMG, you can opt for the AMG drivers package and boost the top speed by 20 kilometers per hour to 40 kilometers per hour. But trust me, at higher speeds, there's a lot of wind noise which comes from the A-pillars because they are upright, of course. So not really the best car in terms of dynamic feel, because obviously the boxy design doesn't really help in terms of aerodynamics or aerodynamic efficiency. The horn is nice, yeah, the horn is quite nice and loud, and I don't know, there seems to be some sort of a jam happening here. Onto the throttle, the response is quite immediate. It doesn't hesitate at all, doesn't feel lackluster in any way in spite of the weight and the body on frame platform and the old school layout of the vehicle. It just goes. It is just so quick in terms of performance. In fact, I will quickly change this to classic, and both of them actually change. Engine is a lovely engine honestly, but if you're buying a G-Class, better get the AMG only, because the AMG goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in just 4.5 seconds, which is like 1.9 seconds faster when compared to this G400d, which is powered by the OM 656 diesel engine, which is powering almost all big Mercedes cars, including the GLE, the GLS and the likes. Okay, it gets a bit bouncy. The ride is definitely on the bumpier side because of the ladder frame construction, but trust me, the dynamics of the second generation model are a world apart when compared to the older one, which just couldn't go through corners. The biggest problem here is the ESP system. When you try to corner hard, now the ESP is very intrusive. It kicks in abruptly, and then mid corner you realize that it just doesn't let you flow along. Obviously this is a full-time four-wheel drive system, that's the reason it says high range here, and it has got 5 drive modes. Actually it has got 6 drive modes. So obviously there's an individual mode, there's a sport mode, comfort mode, eco mode, and there's also a desert mode, which I honestly don't know how to activate at all. So what else can you change when you get into the individual mode? You can actually change the engine character, which is also linked to the gearbox. You can change the adaptive dampers. This car does not have air suspension, it has got adaptive dampers, so the damping changes depending on the drive mode. In sport it's sporty, so yes, it's not the best in terms of bad road ride quality. And then it also makes changes to the ESP system of the vehicle and the steering wheel. That's about it. It obviously does not raise the ride height because the ground clearance is ample at 241 mm, and the water weighting capacity of 700 mm is good enough as well. Not the highest, but it is quite good. Honestly, it is the feel of driving the G-Wagon. Right now you can see the hood completely. You're sitting really high up. Everybody turns around to see what car are you driving. That is the kind of road presence it has, and you just roll in a G-Wagon. Yeah, body roll is also quite a lot. Every time you turn, you can feel the roll. Look at the roll. It is just swinging right, left and center, in spite of the fact that it is right now in sport mode, and the dampers are absolutely the most dynamic right now. And here we go. See, it's upshifting around 4,500 RPM. Although red line is marked around 5,200 RPM, still it upshifts quite quickly. It could have held onto a gear slightly longer, but no, it just does not do that. It has got 3 locking differentials. When you lock either of the diffs, it automatically comes into G mode, or even when you get into low range, then also it gets into G mode. Basically what G mode does is it ensures that the power delivery is very smooth. It restricts the gear shifts. It makes changes to the ESP system. It makes changes to the dampers and the steering wheel to make sure this car is extremely capable off-road. And obviously nobody takes it off-road because of the price of this car. It's extremely expensive. It is madly expensive. In fact, we'll get into progressive mode here, and I can come to the G-force meter as well on the right side, which actually brings me to the fuel efficiency. It's saying 4.1 kilometers per liter. This car is definitely quite a drinker, and because of the weight and the lack of aerodynamics, this car will definitely drink a lot of fuel, which actually brings me to the price of this car. Rupees 3.07 crores is the price of this particular car, which is quite expensive. The steering is good, yeah, it's responsive enough. The only thing is that this is not a car for high-speed driving, and this is a car for off-roading, which nobody does. So what exactly is this car? It is a fashion statement of sorts, and if you want to make a fashion statement, just get the G63 AMG. Why you want to get the diesel? Although I believe a diesel is a diesel is a diesel. There it is telling me a forward collision is possible. It obviously has the blind spot alert there. So all these things are bumpy. All these things are obviously there in this car. Let's do one thing. Let's actually accelerate, and you can see the G-force meter dangling right there. I find the G-Wagon to be iconic in multiple ways because firstly, it is super awesome to drive, and then around the corners now you roll so much now that you question yourself that why are you even cornering this car so hard? It's not meant for hard cornering. And then the ESP system. Oh god, brake test. I did not see this at all. I don't know why they put this. They should have at least mentioned somewhere that there is a यहाँ पे लगाओ ना कि बंद है आगे रोड.
नहीं ये अभी इसका ओपनिंग होने वाला है.
अच्छा,
तो इसीलिए हमने ये वार्निंग टेप लगा के आज.
अरे वार्निंग टेप तो दिख नहीं रहा ना धूप में. एटलीस्ट पीछे के साइड में लगाते. हाँ
सॉरी, हम बिजी थे थोड़ा.
बिजी नहीं थे, मैं देख रहा था, लेकिन बहुत मतलब
नहीं थे. मर्सिडीज है ना.
हाँ,
ये तो शेख मोहम्मद की गाड़ी है, उसका ब्रांड. उसके ब्रांड है ये अभी तक.
ठीक है, चलो थोड़ा पीछे के साइड लगा दो ना कि रोड क्लोज.
अभी नहीं लगा सकते ना. अच्छा, कब खुल रहा है? इसीलिए तो अभी 2-3 घंटे में चालू. अच्छा, 2-3 घंटे में चालू होगा. ये बंद कब किया आपने? बंद अभी थोड़ा मतलब खड़ा हो गया
6.5 hours later.
आपने बंद किया था तोड़ के गया अच्छा सुबह आके बंद किया
अच्छा हाँ तो वही ये खुला था पहले मैं वही सोच रहा ये बंद खुला था ना वही ऐसे कैसे
2,000 years later.
ठीक है चलो नहीं कोई नहीं चलो
Brake test happened right there and G-Wagon stopped just in time, although even if it had broken this, not a big deal, which actually makes me want to launch this car. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, and here we go. Brakes are actually good but not great. The car could have stopped slightly earlier as well. It simply did not manage to stop, and that particular road where I was going right now, that was open some time back. I have been on that road. They just put that putty and I could not see it because of the bright sun. Right now the time is around 12:09, which is not the right time for good visibility, honestly. Crazy shit happening today. Anyways, so the gearbox is decently fast shifting, and even though the multiple drive modes alter a lot of things, you are good in comfort mode because the ride seems the best there. In eco mode, there's an eco mode or what? I don't even know. Yeah, there is an eco mode. Why would you need it when you're driving a G-Wagon? Because 4 kilometers per liter is absolutely terrible fuel efficiency. The fuel efficiency is obviously bad because this car is extremely heavy and there's no concept of aerodynamics here at all. No concept. But at least it has a 100-liter fuel tank. It needs that big massive tank, otherwise you will be at the pump almost all the given time. Now the G63 AMG is fantastic, but it is so much more expensive as well, which doesn't make any sense at all. So we're going to make a quick U-turn here. Honestly, I'm just exploring. I have absolutely no clue where I'm going today, and that's the reason I was going through places I shouldn't have been. Steering is actually heavy. It's not very light at lower speeds, and the turning radius is quite a lot. People turn around to see the car because this is obviously a G-Wagon, and a G-Wagon is G-Wagon. Now visibility is not that great on the side because the door, this thing is very fat. The problem is this car doesn't sound that great. It doesn't sound like how a G-Wagon should, which is basically the G63 AMG, which sounds the best, honestly. And forward collision warning did not auto-activate when I was standing on the brakes, or when that stupid cello tape or whatever tape was there. Okay, I'll quickly change this to vehicle data. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, hazard lights off, and off we go. It's showing me how much torque is it consuming in real time, but it never hit 700 Newton meters. 677 Newton meters is the maximum I saw here. Lot of wind noise, yeah, lot of tire noise, and lot of bumpy feeling and bounciness as well. Yes, so this car is not the most dynamic, but that's something you would expect. Now when they updated this car from the G350 to G400d, they increased the price by 1 crore. Actually, not really. They have been increasing the price slowly but surely. And when I first drove the G350 and then now I'm driving the G400d, the price difference between both the cars is approximately 1.07 crores. So prices have increased by 50%, which is a lot. So Mercedes is definitely increasing the prices of their car. In fact, the GLE53 AMG Coupe is priced at rupees 2.19 crores on road Mumbai. What a big price increase there as well. Anyways, the major price increase obviously is happening on the ex-showroom, which is also resulting in the overall price increasing because of the insurance cost going up as well as the registration cost going up. Now, this car is offered in 3 variants. There's the G63 AMG, which is very expensive. There's the G400d Adventure Edition, and there's the G400d AMG line, which obviously has bigger wheels and some AMG bits as well. Price of this car rupees 3.07 crores, out of which 40 lakhs is actually the cost of registration of this car. In terms of the G63 AMG, the registration cost will go to 54 lakhs. First year insurance cost rupees 10 lakhs. For the G63 AMG, the first year insurance cost happens to be rupees 16 lakhs, which is quite a lot. And then they have the G63 Grand Edition. Basically, with the AMG, they have a few limited editions coming now and then, maybe the colors as well. You have to pay a lot more for the limited edition colors. G63 AMG cost rupees 4.73 crores, which is more than 50% of this car as well. So yes, the price is crazy. However, you can book one with only rupees 1.5 lakhs. So the booking amount is actually quite less, making the booking very accessible, but purchasing the whole car, not so much. Now, obviously, Mercedes gives preference to existing Mercedes-Benz customers as well as people who have AMG specifically, because for the G63 AMG, because the demand for the G-Wagon is quite a lot and they cannot fulfill that demand because the production isn't as much as the demand, and some of it is also artificially created. So that's the reason why this car commands a very good premium in the used car market. In fact, in Dubai, the waiting period for the G-Wagon, a brand new one, is almost 4 years. In India, it's I think around 2 years or so, which is crazy. The original G-Wagon was launched way back in 1979 as a commercial vehicle. I think it was launched for the military, and they had so many variants. In fact, Magnaster, which is the contract manufacturer of the G-Wagon, used to also sell it as the Puch and the Puch G. So Mercedes-Benz is not manufactured this car, they have outsourced it, and Magna Steyr is based out of Austria. The second generation G-Wagon was launched in 2018. In India, it came first as the G63, and then in 2019 they came up with the G350d, which obviously is the more practical choice, but then someone who has so much money really doesn't care about the fuel efficiency or the cost of the car. Now with this Adventure Edition, they have 4 exclusive colors as well. So there are 2 types of blue. I think there's a sand, there's a beige as well. And what are the rivals of this car? Absolutely no one. Yes, we do tend to compare it with the Wrangler as well as the Defender because they're similar kinds of vehicles, but this car has no rivals whatsoever because a G-Wagon is a G-Wagon. The Defender is a monocoque. This is still a body on frame car. Then I think the Land Cruiser, the LC300 comes near because it is also very iconic. It is Toyota's oldest running nameplate, and again that car also has a ladder frame. But then there's also the Range Rover, which is available in 50 freaking variants, 50 variant. It's insane the amount of variants available with the Range Rover, and honestly I think a good option is the Range Rover, an alternative to this car because it's very capable, it's supremely luxurious as well, which this car is not really. I mean, not as much as the Range Rover. The ride of the Range Rover is super duper plush as well. So it all depends like what you want to buy and what is the kind of car which pleases you. A G-Wagon is not the first car or the only car in your garage. It's more of a style statement because nobody really takes it off-road. So the whole point of having all these 3 locking differentials is completely beaten here. Now of course there are some variants of the Range Rover which are not much expensive when compared to the G-Wagon, because with 50 variants obviously there's a variant which is just 21 lakhs more than this car, which is decently equipped too. So I would recommend to look at the Range Rover if you're on a budget. I don't know what I'm talking, but how can you look for a Range Rover on a budget? That just doesn't make sense. Instead, just get the G63 AMG if you have that kind of money. But almost 5 crores is like Lamborghini Urus territory, which again is super duper expensive. But remember, for that amount of money as the G63 AMG, you also get the Range Rover with the 4.4 liter BMW V8, which is absolutely fantastic. So this is Mercedes' second longest running nameplate after, of course, the Unimog. And with the Range Rover available in 50 variants, there are 4 variants which actually happen to be cheaper than the G-Wagon. Yes, 4 variants of the Range Rover are cheaper than the G400d. So yes, Land Rover could further drive down its prices if it starts to locally assemble its cars in India, considering it's an Indian company owned by Tata Motors now. I don't know what is the delay in actually locally assembling the flagship Range Rover in India. That would do so good for our economy for sure. Now this year they've already unveiled the EQG in India, showcased it as a concept, but they are planning to launch the EQG or the electric G-Wagon later this year, and next year they are planning to get the Mini G as well, which is basically a G-Wagon styled vehicle but priced quite attractively. I know, affordability is very relative. Anyways, the G-Wagon is the only car which comes stock with portal axles. Yes, the G6x6 and the G500 and all portal axles, which is absolutely crazy because obviously it's lifted and then it can do crazy stuff as well. So as I see it, the G-Wagon is not a car, it is actually an emotion. It is fantastic in the feel, in the road presence, in the history, in the iconicness. But as a car, purely it is expensive, and unless and until you have a lot of money to splurge, doesn't really make much sense to get a G-Wagon as your first car, at least, because it's so expensive, it attracts so much attention, you just don't want to park it anywhere and go. And plus, the most important thing for me personally is that it's so expensive that nobody's going to take it off-road. Even I don't have the guts to take it off-road right now, even though Mercedes has no objection if I do so. So we're going to quickly launch it one last time, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, tires screech randomly, and off we go. Roly-poly. Bye-bye. The vlog might be over, but it doesn't change the fact that the Honda City ahead is actually converted into a Mercedes S-Class in this display right in front of me, which is absolutely crazy and stupid and unnecessary as well.